Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today I am back with a Victorian home build. We're building in the world of Forgotten Hollow, and this build goes through a couple of different ideas. At first, I really wanted to create some sort of starter home here for a vampire, and this is what I started doing. But I quickly realized I wanted to add more to this house than that, and really extend the budget, and I just kept adding on to it, and it ended up not being for a vampire at all. I was thinking that this house could be a haunted house, so I do set it as a haunted house residential a little bit later on. And I was thinking that it's sort of renovated, meaning they cleaned it up a bit and they're trying to get somebody to live here, but it's probably not the best place to live because of all of the ghosts that are going to be visiting you, as well as being surrounded by vampires. And I love the idea of some Sims moving in and have no idea that they are going to be dealing with a lot of paranormal things in this home. So that was the evolved idea of this build and what this ended up being in the end. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. It also has a little office space upstairs, and there's also a hidden room up on the 3rd floor where there's a ladder hidden behind some bookcase doors that leads you into a room that has a seance table in it, which I thought was a really fun idea and offers some fun gameplay, especially since I did set this as a haunted house residential. So I'm excited for you to see how this build comes out. If you do like it and you'd like to download it for yourself, it's available on the Sims 4 gallery. You can find it under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. You can also find that under the hashtag Gryphi, and that information is in the description down below as well. So since I abandoned the idea of this being a vampire starter home, it is not 20,000 simoleons or less. But I don't think it came out to be too expensive, but I always have the prices and the lot and all the information you need in the description if you'd like to check there. But this is when the final shape is starting to come together. I end up having this wraparound porch on the left side of the build with a bit of a tower, and I love how I kind of pushed these windows together from vampires to create a bigger window on the front of the build. And overall, I was just really happy with all of the details on this. I got to use this beautiful spandrel from the Vampires pack, which I almost never use. It just has such a gorgeous detail with the curvature on it. And I'm also playing around with the roof. I really wanted to do some sort of fun design up here, and I actually ended up manipulating the roof so it's more curved up here to add some really cool detail. So we will be doing that here shortly. Also, right now I'm painting the whole house this really dark, like blackish blue paneling, and I keep that all the way until the end of the build where I decide to change it up and have it more green, because at this point I was still thinking this was going to be a vampire home and I wanted it to be a little bit darker, but that's not the route I went for in the end, so I do end up changing it. But I am getting these columns on all of the corners to kind of have some trim pieces on this house. I feel like it just makes it stand out a little bit better and feel more complete. And then we are starting to work on landscaping. I ended up just trying to put a lot of trees around that we saw in the surrounding world of Forgotten Hollow, so I'm primarily using things from the Live Edit Objects menu. I also got some bushes that are like framed in with a low-lying fence to make them look more intentional, and a little bit more of a free-flowing garden over here. I'm just drawing out how I want that to look with some terrain paint before I place everything down. And it was a little bit of trial and error trying to figure out how I wanted this landscaping to look, and at one point my terrain paint disappeared because that glitch is still present in The Sims 4, so I do have to redo it later, but I just play around with a lot of greenery over here. I didn't want too many flowers. I do end up adding some like very small yellow flowers in this space, these ones right here, and I thought that they were a nice touch, but overall I wanted this mostly to be green and a little bit overgrown, but it's like somebody tried to fix up this property to get somebody to move in because they really need some fresh blood in this area for these vampires. And I'm thinking maybe this house is haunted from a previous residents that didn't make it in this world. I think that's kind of a fun and kind of scary idea. We are getting closer to Halloween now, so I've been doing some more occult builds and scary builds and things like that. So I thought this was a fun idea. I will have, I think, 1 or 2 more Halloween-esque builds out before the end of the month, but they're not done yet. This should be going out while I am away in Las Vegas for TwitchCon. I've been pre-recording for a while. I've probably mentioned it in a couple of my videos already, but that is something that is happening. And I haven't recorded the rest of my Halloween videos yet because I think this is the only one that's going out during that time. But I do have a bunch of videos going out. I am very excited about them. So hopefully you've been enjoying the content recently. I've been having a lot of fun creating some different builds, some apartments. I've done some community lots and build challenges. I've been really enjoying the build challenges. And I have some more on my list that I'd like to do sometime soon. So if you have any ideas for build challenges, please leave those down below. But anyway, the floor plan has come together here. You enter into this entryway with a staircase. There's a archway into the back, which is just the back hallway. And then there's a bathroom off to the side. But right off of the main entrance is where the kitchen is going to be, which is what we were working on now. I thought about using the vampires countertops, but they didn't really match the wallpaper I had in here. And I thought this wallpaper was perfect because it's still in decent shape, but it's faded. It is from the Basement Treasures kit. And I loved the idea of this space being cleaned up. That's why I have the title of this video, like renovated in quotation marks, because they like tried to clean up this property and make it look nice and new. But obviously there's still some dings in the walls. The wallpaper's a bit old and there might be a secret seance table in the attic, but they're trying to get somebody to move in here. So I liked the idea of that. I'm also trying to center the sink here because I thought it looked a little weird off center with the two windows to either side. So just playing around with the counter pieces there and then painting the tiles in this room, which are actually from Realm of Magic, but they came in a really pretty green swatch and I was heavily using green on the inside of this build. So I thought that looked nice. Then we're just getting a range hood and I actually put a couple of shelves up above the sink and ended up putting some clutter on there. I thought it was really pretty. There is some clutter in this house, but not too much because I was kind of imagining that this was like pretty soon after whoever ends up buying this house moved in. So they have some of their personal items around, but for the most part, it's pretty bare bones. Maybe this is their first home. They have no idea what they're getting themselves into. So it's pretty simply decorated, but I think that's also good because that means it's going to run better on more machines. So if that is helpful for you, do let me know because I do tend to clutter my builds up quite a bit. Every once in a while, I do something like this that's a little bit more on the minimal side. Let me know if that's something you enjoy. But in the entryway here, I decided to use some more cabinetry just to make it look like there was some built-in closet space. And I will be adding a couple more details to that hallway in a little bit. But in the living room, I really wanted to have a fireplace, but this vampires one was way too big. So I opted for the one from Discover University instead. I think it's a really pretty one and I don't use it that often. And I felt like it kind of fit the style of this home. So picking out a sofa, like a big, like generic looking comfy sofa and a nice rug in here. I was thinking they had maybe some hand-me-down furniture that was a little bit older in style, or they tried to pick up some stuff at a thrift store that sort of matched the style of this house. That was the idea here, and we ended up having a dining table in this room as well. It's a pretty small home, so you have to do what you can and kind of make the layout work, and I thought that was pretty realistic to go ahead and push that dining table over into the corner there. I also got a side table with a way to play some music. We have some rips and tears in the walls, just kind of grabbing some of those decals from the Basement Treasures kit. There's also some from vampires and werewolves, and there's a bunch of packs now that have cracks and tears in the walls, but I really like the newer ones because they're new, so I haven't used them as much. So I did technically use more of the Basement Treasures kits one. But anyway, in the main hallway, you will have seen I just added that really pretty runner rug, which is from vampires. It's not one I use that often, but it's one that you can kind of piece together and make as long as you'd like. So I quite enjoyed that. And this is the downstairs bathroom using the complete set from the Vampires pack. And it's pretty simple. It's a good sized bathroom though. It's a full one with a shower tub combo, whereas the bathroom that's upstairs just has a shower. And I'm pretty sure I don't show that footage in this build, but it will be in the screenshots if you'd like to see what that bathroom looks like. And then in the back hallway, I decided to have a standing piano. You could replace that with an organ if you prefer. But I thought the standing piano was a nice touch, and I'm still very excited about them. After wanting them for years and we finally got them this year, I feel like they're just, anytime I can find a use for one in a build, I'm going to do it. So we are upstairs now, and we are working on the bedrooms. I do end up using this cats and dogs bed in here and really going all out on the green theme. I think this room ends up being so incredibly cozy in the end. I love the like 4-poster bed, and we're going to be getting a really cute rug. I also put these vampire frames up above the bed. We're going to pretend that's not flat up there. I just thought they were really pretty style and worked well with what I wanted in this space. And I just got a couple of lamps. There's not too much decor in here, like I had mentioned. I don't have like clutter on the bedside tables or anything like that. I did get a dresser over here, a nice little chair. And actually the mirror that came with the Basement Treasures kit is also absolutely stunning. And I used it in both of the bedrooms. So grabbing that here now, the colors are pretty, the style is gorgeous, and it's a little bit worn on the top. There's a lot of like staining and stuff on the top part of the mirror as it has been aged, and I thought that was a nice touch for this build. Anyway, this is the other bedroom. I have a very limited space, so I opted not to have bedside tables in this one. I was thinking this is more of a spare bedroom anyway, so I just have a plant and a lamp on either side, and then I got that same mirror and a little side table with some paintings up above it, and a couple of pieces of decor. I got some flowers and I believe a clock as well, and that should be it for the secondary bedroom. And we should be heading into that little office space over here. So I am closing off that ladder and putting bookcase doors. So it looks like there's just bookcases in that corner. You wouldn't know there's a secret room upstairs. I thought that was a fun idea, and maybe you can lock that and have it so your Sims discover that over time. It could be a really fun storyline to play with in your gameplay. So that's what I opted for. And then I just got a desk in here with a typewriter on it. That's just a computer from the Cottage Living pack, and it looks kind of like a typewriter, and so I liked the idea of that. And I just got a rug in here, and then we're going upstairs to the attic. I just grabbed a seance table from the paranormal pack. There wasn't a lot of space up here, and I wanted it to be a functional item, so I opted to do this instead of putting like some creepy items like I sometimes do, like skeletons and all of that sort of stuff. I thought it was more fun gameplay wise to have a seance table up here, so that's what I opted to do. I got some cracks and tears in the walls as well as some curtains. Ends up being a pretty simple room, but I think it looks really nice in the end. And then we're just getting some finishing touches on the outside, painting the house this green color instead, finalizing the landscaping, and heading on into screenshots. I really hope you enjoyed this build. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to see more, and click that bell to be notified when I upload. Thank you so much for watching. Please enjoy those screenshots, and I will see you all soon. Bye, everyone.